Hey there, welcome to Creepy Romance. Today I'm bringing you something truly special, an unforgettable story that will have you hooked from the very first moment. If you love passionate romance wrapped in mystery, heart-stopping chills, and a touch of Gothic allure, you're in the right place. This is the perfect video to watch while you're relaxing, unwinding after a long day, or even setting the mood for a stormy night. Whether you're chilling with a warm drink, studying, or just in the mood for an eerie yet captivating story, you'll find this one hits all the right notes. And before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. My goal is to reach at least 100 subscribers. Remember, we're brand new, and with your support, I know we'll get there soon. So, if you enjoy love stories with a dark, mysterious twist, hit that subscribe button and join this amazing community. All right, without further ado, let's dive into The House on Willow Crest Lane by Sara Frost, a tale where love, danger, and a haunted Victorian mansion collide in a story you won't soon forget. Chapter 1. The house on Willow Crest Lane had seemed like a dream when Marisol first laid eyes on it. Its wraparound porch was shaded by towering oaks, and the intricately carved wooden railings practically whispered of 100 years of history. Elliot had fallen in love with it on the spot, and his excitement had been infectious. "You're gonna love it here, Mare," he'd said, tracing the patterns on the banister as if memorizing each groove. His enthusiasm was adorable, and while Marisol preferred a sleek, modern vibe, how could she say no? This was their first home together, an adventure for their newlywed life. Yet now, 6 months later, Marisol stood in the kitchen, arms crossed, glaring at the house as though it had personally insulted her. "Don't roll your eyes at me," she muttered. The overhead light flickered in response. "Oh, I see how it is," Marisol said, grabbing her phone from the counter. She dialed Rosie, her best friend, because if anyone could make her laugh about the absurdity of arguing with a house, it was Rosie. "What's up, chica?" Rosie answered, her voice bright. "The house hates me." A pause. Then laughter, loud, unrestrained laughter that Marisol immediately regretted inviting into her day. "I'm serious, Rosie," she said, pacing in front of the fridge. "Every time I try to do something like hang a picture, rearrange the furniture, normal stuff, it fights me. Last week, I tried to put up those cute cafe curtains in the kitchen, and the rod fell 3 times. 3 times! "Mary, come on," Rosie said, still chuckling. "It's an old house. That's what they do. They creak, they groan, and they hate cute curtains." "Then explain this," Marisol said, lowering her voice. "The curtains are back up. Perfectly, I might add, because Elliot put them up. No issues, not one." "Ooh," Rosie teased. "Jealous house vibes?" Marisol stopped pacing. The idea was absurd. The house? Jealous? But then she thought about how the doors always seemed to stick when she tried to open them, only to glide effortlessly for Elliot, or how the light in her office always flickered just as she was getting work done, though it never happened when Elliot worked late. "I don't have time for this," Marisol said, shaking her head as if to dismiss the idea. The pantry door creaked open slowly, as if in protest. Marisol glared at the pantry door. "Oh, so now you're eavesdropping?" The door groaned in response, then shut with a sharp click. Rosie's laughter carried through the phone again. "Mari, you've officially lost it. Tell Elliot to get you out of that haunted mansion before it convinces you to sleep in the attic." Marisol snorted. "Very funny. Anyway, I'll call you later. I need to get some work done, assuming this place lets me." "Well, good luck," Rosie said. "And try not to end up in a horror movie, okay?" After hanging up, Marisol stared around the kitchen. She wanted to brush off the uneasy feeling crawling up her spine, but it lingered. She grabbed her laptop and moved to the small breakfast nook, setting into the seat she claimed as her unofficial workspace. The kitchen had always been her favorite part of the house, with its cozy bay windows that filled the room with sunlight, well, when the house allowed it. Today, the curtains drew themselves halfway shut, letting only a sliver of light through. "Oh, for the love of—" She reached out to open the curtains fully, only for the rod to shake slightly like a warning. "That's it. You want to play games? Fine. Grabbing her laptop, she marched into the living room and flopped onto the couch. She opened the screen, ready to ignore the house's antics and focus on her work, but as soon as she began typing, she felt it. A shift in the air. A faint sense of disapproval. The lamp beside her flickered. The TV remote slid an inch closer to the edge of the coffee table. Marisol groaned. You don't want me in here either? Seriously? She decided she needed a distraction. Cleaning usually helped her clear her head. She grabbed a broom from the laundry room and started tidying up. When she got to the entryway, she noticed a faint draft wafting up from the floorboards near the hallway closet. Well, that's new, she muttered, crouching down to feel for the source. She spotted a small crack along the edge of the floor, almost imperceptible, but enough to make her curious. Standing, she opened the closet and pushed aside Elliot's raincoats and her box of winter scarves. Her hand grazed the back wall, and she felt it shift ever so slightly under her fingers. No way, she said, giving the panel a firm push. With a groan, the wall gave way, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling down into darkness. Elliot, she called, but there was no answer. He'd left earlier to teach a class at the university, and she was alone, of course. The draft was stronger now, carrying a faint scent of damp wood and something faintly floral. Against her better judgment, Marisol grabbed her phone for a flashlight and stepped onto the staircase. The stairs creaked with each step, the sound echoing in the confined space. At the bottom, she found a small room, barely tall enough for her to stand upright. It was cluttered with dust-covered furniture and stacks of old boxes. In the corner, on a small wooden table, sat a bundle of envelopes tied together with a faded blue ribbon. She hesitated before reaching for them, her fingers trembling slightly, though she didn't know why. Each envelope was addressed to Elliot, written in an elegant looping script. To my dearest Elliot. Marisol's stomach tightened. She opened the top envelope, pulling out a piece of thick parchment. The words were written in the same meticulous handwriting. My dearest Elliot, you bring life to my shadows and calm to my restless walls. I have waited for someone who could feel what lies beneath my surface, someone who truly sees me. You are a part of me as I am of you. Please do not let her take you away from me. Stay and we can be whole together. Always yours, Willow. Willow, Marisol whispered, her voice echoing faintly. Her eyes darted around the room. The floral scent grew stronger, as though the house itself were reacting to her discovery. Willow, Marisol said again, louder this time. The table creaked, tilting slightly as if to remind her, put that letter down. Marisol tightened her grip on the parchment. Not a chance. Marisol read the letter again, her fingers brushing the parchment as if touching the words themselves would make them less surreal. Don't let her take you away from me. The hairs on her arms stood on end. What kind of house wrote love letters? And why, out of all the people in the world, did it have to be her husband? Her pulse quickened as she picked up the rest of the bundle. She flipped through the letters, each one more elaborate and obsessive than the last. The house, or Willow, as it called itself, poured its heart into every word. The way you run your hands along my banisters makes me shiver with delight. Each step you take on my floors fills me with purpose. She will never love you the way I do, Elliot. Never. Mary slammed the letters back onto the table, her breath hitching. This can't be happening. A sudden creak made her spin around. The air felt thick, charged. She held up her phone, the flashlight's narrow beam cutting through the dim room. Shadows danced along the walls, and the floral scent grew overpowering. Okay, she said, taking a step back toward the staircase. I've had enough of this Scooby-Doo nonsense for one day. But as she turned to leave, the door at the top of the stairs slammed shut with a resounding thud. Oh, come on, she shouted. The room seemed to groan in response, as if the house were disappointed in her reaction. Listen, Willow, or whatever your name is, Marisol said, her voice shaking but defiant. You can't just trap me down here because you have a thing for my husband. He's mine. Got it? M-I-N-E. A low creaking sound echoed through the space. almost like laughter. Mary narrowed her eyes. You think this is funny? I'm not scared of you. The table shifted an inch toward her, the bundle of letters sliding closer to her feet. Okay, maybe a little scared, she admitted under her breath. Clutching her phone, she examined the room more closely. Her eyes landed on an antique mirror propped against the far wall. Its ornate frame was carved with vines and flowers, its surface streaked with dust. Something about it felt off, like it was watching her. Nope, 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 nope. She turned back to the stairs, ready to pound on the door if she had to, but then she heard it, a faint, melodic voice. Marisol. She froze, her stomach flipping. Elliot? No answer. Mary. The voice was sweeter now, like a lover's call. Her instincts screamed to run, but something drew her back toward the mirror. As she approached, the reflection shifted, and for a moment she saw herself. But not quite. The woman staring back at her had her face, but wore a flowing dress, her eyes wide with longing. Help me, the reflection whispered, her voice laced with desperation. Mary stumbled backward, clutching her chest. What in the... Before she could finish, the door at the top of the stairs creaked open. Light flooded the room, and the draft dissipated as quickly as it had come. Mary found herself bolting up the stairs as quickly as her legs could move. She slammed the hidden door shut and shoved Elliot's raincoat back into place. She didn't know how to explain what had just happened, but one thing was clear. She needed answers. When Elliot came home later that evening, she was waiting for him in the living room, the bundle of letters spread out on the coffee table like evidence at a trial. Uh-oh, he said, dropping his bag by the door. What did I do now? Sit, she commanded, pointing to the couch. Elliot's brows knit in confusion, but he obeyed. He picked up one of the letters, hesitating for a beat before reading it out loud. My dearest Elliot, you bring life to my shadows. His voice faltered, and he glanced at Marisol, his expression shifting from guarded amusement to unease. What is this? I was hoping you could tell me, Marisol said, crossing her arms and watching him closely. Apparently, our house has a crush on you. Elliot's hand tightened slightly on the letter, his knuckles whitening. The house? Yes, Elliot, the house. These letters were in the basement, and before you ask, no, I didn't write them, and no, I haven't lost my mind. Elliot opened another letter, his fingers fumbling slightly. His face paled as he scanned the contents. This is elaborate. Uh-huh. Marisol leaned in, her tone sharp. Care to explain why our house thinks you're its soulmate? Elliot let out a forced laugh, holding up his hands as though to shield himself. I don't know. Maybe it's a prank, or something left behind by the previous owners. His voice cracked slightly, and he quickly cleared his throat. Marisol tilted her head, her eyes narrowing. A prank? Really? It's addressed to you by name, Elliot. This house wants you, and it's not exactly subtle about it. Elliot rubbed the back of his neck, avoiding her gaze. Maybe it's not even about me. I mean, you said the house is old, right? There could have been another Elliot who lived here years ago or something. Marisol stared at him, her lips tightening. Is that the best you've got? As if on cue, the lamp beside them flickered twice before going dark. Elliot flinched slightly, then forced a dry laugh. That is probably just... Nope. Marisol cut him off, her tone sharp. Don't you dare say it's the wiring. This place is in love with you, and it's trying to get rid of me. Elliot leaned back, dragging a hand over his face. Mary, you've been under a lot of stress lately. The house isn't alive. It's wood, nails, and too much history, that's all. Marisol crossed her arms tighter, her gaze piercing. Uh-huh, and I guess the love letters were just a coincidence, right? Sure, Elliot. Whatever helps you sleep at night. Elliot didn't reply, but his eyes lingered on the letters, guilt flickering behind them before he shoved the papers back into Marisol's hands. Mary, I think you've been working too hard. The house isn't alive. It's wood, nails, and a little too much history, just like I said. That's all. Marisol stood and paced the room. Do you really think I'm imagining this? Fine, let's test it. Try saying something romantic, like, to me. Elliot blinked, caught off guard. What? You heard me. Say something sweet to your wife. Elliot hesitated, clearly uncomfortable. Murray, I love you. You're the couch shuddered beneath him. See? Marisol pointed triumphantly. It's jealous. Or, the floorboards are settling. Marisol rolled her eyes so hard she could have sprained something. Elliot, the house slammed the basement door on me today. It locked me in. And don't even get me started on the mirror down there. Mirror? His tone was dismissive. Marisol whirled on him, her voice rising. I looked in it, Elliot, and I saw someone. She looked like me, but she wasn't. She begged me for help. Elliot hesitated, his brow furrowing. Mary, you're sure about that? I mean, it sounds like something you'd see in a movie. Her jaw dropped. You think I'm making this up? No, I'm just saying, maybe you were tired or stressed. His voice softened, like he was trying to calm a child. Marisol threw her hands up. Unbelievable. You think I'm crazy. I didn't say that, he protested. But you have to admit, it's a lot. A lot? Marisol's voice cracked with frustration. You think I want to be scared out of my mind in my own home? I'm telling you, this house is alive and it's obsessed with you. And whatever's going on with that mirror, it's just making it worse. Elliot rubbed the bridge of his nose, sighing. All right, I love you, but this doesn't feel rational. I think we need to take a step back and, I don't know, maybe talk to someone, a professional? Her chest tightened. You mean a therapist? Maybe, yeah, he said gently, though his words hit like a slap. Marisol stared at him, her breath catching in her throat. You're serious? Before Elliot could answer, the lamp on the side table toppled over, hitting the floor with a resounding crash. Both of them froze. Okay, that's new, Elliot said, his voice wavering. Marisol crossed her arms, her eyes blazing. You still think it's just the wiring? Elliot knelt to pick up the broken pieces of the lamp, carefully avoiding Marisol's gaze. Maybe we just need to get out for a bit, he said, his tone overly calm. Take a break from this house, clear our heads. Marisol crossed her arms tightly, her pulse pounding. Right, because this is all in my head. I didn't say that, he muttered, standing up. You didn't have to. Elliot sighed, setting the broken lamp on the table. Mari, I don't want to fight with you. I'm just saying maybe some fresh air would help. You've been cooped up here a lot lately and what? She interrupted. I'm hallucinating? Losing it? I didn't say that either. The words hung between them, heavy and unspoken. Marisol turned away, staring at the letters still spread out on the coffee table. The room felt too small, like the walls were pressing inward, suffocating her. Fine, she said tightly. You want me to get out? I'll get out. Before Elliot could respond, she grabbed her coat and keys and walked out the front door. Elliot paced the living room, his steps echoing in the silence left behind after Marisol stormed out. The house creaked faintly, as though reacting to his movement. The letters sat on the coffee table, their edges curling slightly, as if waiting for him to pick them up again. He stared at them for a long moment, then sighed heavily and sat down on the couch, his head in his hands. His phone buzzed on the coffee table, and he flinched as though it had shouted at him. Reluctantly, he reached for it, his thumb hovering over the screen. The message was from an unnamed contact. You can't keep ignoring me, Elliot. I deserve better than silence. Call me tonight. We need to talk. Elliot's jaw tightened, his grip on the phone whitening his knuckles. He typed out a response, hesitated, and then deleted it. Setting the phone face down, he ran his hands over his face, his shoulders sagging under the weight of it all. He leaned back against the couch, staring at the ceiling. Why had he ever thought this house could fix things? That he could fix things? The creaking sound came again, louder this time. Elliot sat up, his gaze flicking to the walls as though expecting them to close in on him. Yeah, I know, he muttered under his breath, addressing the house like it was a scolding parent. You're disappointed too. Join the club. The silence that followed was deeper, heavier, as though the house were listening. Unable to sit still, Elliot grabbed his jacket and keys. The idea of staying inside, surrounded by reminders of everything that had gone wrong, was unbearable. He paused at the door, glancing back at the letters on the table. They seemed to gleam faintly in the dim light, almost beckoning him. He shook his head, muttering, "Not now." The cool evening air hit him as he stepped outside. He shoved his hands into his jacket pockets and walked aimlessly down the street, the weight of unspoken truths pressing on his shoulders. Another buzz from his phone broke the silence, insistent and demanding, but he ignored it, shoving the device deeper into his pocket. All right, gang, that is the end of Chapter 1 for The House on Willow Crest Lane. Wow, what an ending, right? Elliot's unraveling tension, the mysterious letters, the cryptic text. Everything feels like the calm before the storm. What secrets are hidden in the house, and who's behind that message? Don't miss Chapter 2. It's dropping tomorrow. If you are watching this later, no worries. You can find it right now in the playlist or on my channel. Things are about to get even creepier, darker, and more twisted. You can't wait? Want more now? Well, you can grab the entire novella, The House on Willow Crest Lane, on Amazon or your favorite bookstore like Apple Books or Barnes & Noble, and more. Find all the links down below. And if you prefer listening instead of reading, well, the audiobook is also available. But here is the juicy part. The ebook and audiobook come with exclusive content that you won't see here or on any video platform. There are 4 alternate endings that are shocking, funny, and downright horrifying. So I want you to discover all of the untold twists and layers to the story that will haunt your imagination. And here's the best part. It's a steal at just $2.99 for the ebook and $4.99 for the audiobook. So hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure your notifications are on. And I will see you in Chapter 2. But until then, remember, not all houses want to be lived in. The links are below, guys. Happy reading or listening.